going to start the live stream. If you can give us a second, there's always a 20 to 30-second delay. So during this time, it needs to make its way through the internet and then get online. All right, we are now live on YouTube. So Chair Arnold, you're ready to start.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It is 9:01, and I would like to call to order the meeting of the Rules, Policy, and Industrial Relations Committee of Friday, June 24th, 2022. Before we begin, please note this meeting is live streamed on YouTube and recorded. Members of the public are encouraged to watch and listen to the meeting on YouTube or by dialing into 415-569-6446 for the audio of this meeting. If you would like to provide public comment at today's meeting, please call 415-569-6446 and let the facilitator know what items you would like to speak on today. I appreciate everyone's patience as we move through today's meeting. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Thank you and good morning again to some of you. Director Cochran.
Here.
Director Conroy.
Present.
Thank you. Director Garbarino.
Present.
Director Grosball. Director Grosball is absent. Director Hill.
Here.
Vice Chair Arnold.
Here.
Chair Hernandez is absent, and President Theriault.
Here.
Thank you. That confirms your quorum, but you also are a committee of the whole. You also on the line have Directors Maston, Parr, Rodoni, Snyder, and Thier. So you are a committee of the whole. I'll confirm staff on the line. And we have Dennis Mulligan.
Present.
Jennifer Minucci in place of Joe Wire.
Good morning.
Morning. Ava Barr-Furbish.
Present.
Kim Manolius.
Morning.
Thank you. David Rivera.
Good morning, President.
Mona Babauta. I see her square.
Good morning.
There you go. Thank you. Jim Swindler
Present.
and Kelly Hopper.
Present.
Perfect. Thank you. That confirms staff on the line.
Thank you. I would like to remind everyone to mute their microphones until after staff's presentations, and remember to unmute when we open up for directors' discussion. If we have directors joining us by phone, please use *6 to unmute yourself. After staff's presentation, I will be asking for any questions or comments on the item. Click on Raise Hand on your device if you have a question, or press *9 for the Raise Hand function if joining by phone. If there are any questions, the secretary or I will call on you accordingly. If we missed your raised hand, please speak up. After our discussion, we will ask for public comment before moving on. Please follow along by referring to the page numbers on the bottom right-hand corner of your meeting packet. Madam Secretary, please introduce the first item.
Thank you, Vice Chair Arnold, and good morning again, everyone. We're going to start with agenda item number 3, which is to adopt the Master Ordinance 2022 and related actions. And I'm going to direct your attention to the recommendations listed on page 3 of your packet. This is kind of a cleanup item for us. The Master Ordinance is a document that we use to basically let the world know how we do our business here at the district. It has our toll information, it has our fare information, zone descriptions, and just lots of detailed information if anybody wants to come to the bridge and even have an expressive activity. So this is a comprehensive document. It's broken up into 3 different sections, but specifically what we do is every now and then we try to pull the handbrake and of this document and get it up to date and bring everything up to speed of all the actions that the board's taken over the last, let's see, since it's been adopted 2017, last 5 years, and bring everything forward. So this one is a pretty comprehensive piece because every time we open up for kind of like put new eyes on it, we find something else, whether or not it's a comma missing, a hyphen this, a typo, this or that. And this one was no different. Each time we look at it, something else will change. Specifically, the recommendations listed on page 3, we have actions to update the parking fine schedule, which we have in the past aligned to the San Francisco Municipal Transportation Agency and Marin Parking Authority. And over time, as those parking fines changed, our fines here stayed the same. So we're trying to realign that. A second piece is to also delete a section to allow the district to transport local passengers within the city and county of San Francisco. That's really come about due to interagency collaboration with SFMTA that was highlighted by the pandemic. We do the same thing in the counties of Marin and Sonoma, so we're looking to just basically do that. And we have a letter of support from the SFMTA that basically says, please continue with that effort. So we want to change that by deleting that from our master ordinance so we have that flexibility in the future. I'm not jinxing us to try and bring back another pandemic, but we just want to have that flexibility. The other thing we want to try to do is also bring up to speed the Department of Homeland Security color-coded advisory system. Since 9/11 in 2001, when all of that information went into effect, things have changed. So the National Terrorism Advisory System is now used to communicate elevated and imminent terrorism threats to the American public. So we also wanted to reflect that in the master ordinance. We also had a number of updates to the toll terminology. That was also brought up to speed as well in this document, as well as update to zone descriptions, fare tables, fare collection terminology, just to better align with a lot of things that we have on the outward facing to our customers, such as the transit guide and our website. We noticed after looking at multiple things that we have out there, we had different terminology that was being used in description. So we don't want to create any more confusion. So we're trying to realign everything so that we can bring it back to this document. We don't want to create anything that the normal public can't understand if they read it. We're looking at also some minor corrections, as I mentioned, in formatting, grammar, updates to terminology, and other non-substantial clarifying edits. So I have a very thick, comprehensive, clean version in the back as attachment 2. In attachment 3, I included all the red line pages only. So if you flip through that, you can see exactly what changed. So with that, I know I said a lot and I spoke probably very fast, but I just wanted to see if anyone had any questions, and we're going to respectfully ask for the adoption of this Master Ordinance 2022.
All right. Any questions or comments from board members?
I have a question.
Okay. All right. I see President Terrio first.
Thanks, Chair Arnold. On the agreement with the SFMTA, someone asked me, and I didn't know the answer to the question, if Transport Workers Union Local 250A, which used to represent our toll takers when we had toll takers, and now continues to represent Muni drivers, has had anything to say about this.
We have not directly reached out to them to ask their opinion. So I don't know if they have an opinion on it or not. You know, we've been very publicly picking up passengers in San Francisco now for over 2 years, and it's been well received by customers in San Francisco. And so staff feels it's important. Staff generally works very collaboratively with our unions and our collective bargaining agreements, but we generally don't defer management decisions to the unions to the extent that it doesn't affect working conditions.
Yeah, understood. And certainly the work that is being done is still being done union, if under a different union jurisdiction. So, but I wanted to ask the question because it had been asked of me.
Okay, thank you. I saw Director Garbarino. Is your hand still up?
I was willing to make a motion, and, but I want to wait until after the questions are asked.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Director Hill.
Yes, on page 62, item 12C, it's a C, it deals with bicycles and motorized bicycles. And I would suggest that you consider applying the California Vehicle Code definition for the different classes, because there is a class which is throttle run that does not allow human assistance, pedaling or pedaling. And it's a little bit confusing the way that is. As I understand the way it's written, the class 2 motorized bicycle would not be allowed on the bridge because it does not have a human factor associated with it. I realize that's a reality, but
that's incorrect, Director. The action the board took last fall expressly approved Class 1, Class 2, and Class 3 bikes on the Golden Gate Bridge. A Class 1 is pedal assist with a lower speed capability than a Class 3. Class 3 is 29 miles an hour. Class 2 has a throttle, but the board took an action to allow all 3 classes, coupled with having a speed limit on the sidewalks. And I believe the staff report calls it out so that what the board approved was Class 1, Class 2, and Class 3.
But didn't it say that you can't use, you're not allowed to use the mount motor? So
no, we changed that last fall. Last fall, in order to recognize the tremendous growth in e-bicycle, and in order to align with our climate action goals to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, we allow Class 2 throttle bikes. They don't have to be pedaled as long as they obey the speed limit on the sidewalks on the Golden Gate Bridge, which is 15 miles an hour and 5 miles an hour around the towers.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? I don't see any. Do you, Madam Secretary? No.
I do not.
Okay, all right. Then, thank you for your presentation, Amaret. And this concludes the discussion on this issue. And so, Madam Secretary, is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on item 3?
There is. We have Mr. Pilpel joining us today. He would like to speak under public comment. David, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me okay?
We can. Go ahead.
Okay. So to begin with, today, I think it's incredibly difficult to focus on the business of the district, given the Supreme Court decision from 2 hours ago. Just an incredibly sad day. Yet another sad day in America. But on this particular issue, trying to focus for a moment, I support the updated master ordinance. Of course, I appreciate the updates and the fine tuning, all of the language changes. And I understand that periodic updates will be needed. Perhaps it'll be another 5 years before this gets looked at again. Perhaps it'll be sooner. But the importance of the master ordinance is that it really does cover all of the, a lot of the important and minutia things about how the district operates. And so it's kind of an important document. So I support the changes that are proposed before you today. Thanks again for listening.
Thank you. We have no other speakers on this item. Director Meston has his hand up, though. Chair Arnold, you're on mute.
Well, I'll say what I need to say anyway. So I apologize. Looking closer at what Director Hill was pointing out on page 62, it does appear that electric bikes are not allowed to use their motors, contrary to what Dennis was saying, unless I'm reading that completely wrong, incorrectly. Item C, 12C. Provided the engines or motors are not in operation and the motor-driven cycle or motorized bicycle is propelled by human power only.
we need to correct that. So looking at it, what the board approved does allow class 1, class 2, and class 3
Right.
bikes. So perhaps the motion can, when one is made, be amended to clarify to be consistent with the prior board action.
Okay, thank you.
And I recommend doing it in conformance with the CVC, so it's a fairly consistent definition.
Right. There's a, I think if you were directed to page 100, you can see that for items E, F, and G, that's red line there, you can see where we added in the section about the bicycles include class 1, 2, and 3 electric bikes as defined in section 312.5 of the California Vehicle Code. And then G also expressly states about the bicycle speed on the sidewalks and approaches shall not exceed 15 miles per hour.
Yeah.
So that section is encapsulated in the red line version if you see where we did the changes. I've been sleeping on this document. I live it, I breathe it, I eat it for dinner. I do everything with it.
Yeah. Well, just take a quick extra look.
We'll
at
take
that
a look at that part.
CVC.
Yes.
Yeah. That's all I'm
It looks like it's a little contradictory between the
Yeah.
one
The
section.
two, right. So maybe that's what we need to do is make sure we change that section too. We'll take a look at it again with Kim's crew and make sure that we're not contradicting something else in here. The other thing is, just so you know, this is a living, breathing document, as I just mentioned. What will happen is, as I put it out last week, I know a change is coming. So there will be more edits to this document as the year wears on and we get to the end of the year. So I wouldn't be surprised if I came back again to have another update to it. So just wanted to point that out. I'll turn it back over to you, Chair Arnold.
By the way, that's what I used because I couldn't sleep and it put me to sleep. So.
Thank you.
So a question then, if the motion will include this change, then is it all right for us to go ahead and vote on that now, and it'll show up then when we have our board meeting, correct? Okay.
Yes, I think staff will ensure that the language is consistent with the red line that Amrit highlighted. And staff, if the motion is worded,
Right.
we will defer to us to make that correction. If
all right,
necessary.
thank you. Anyone else before we get a vote? I know Director Garbarino, can you make the motion?
I'd be happy to.
Thank you. And who do I hear a second? Director
Second.
Hill. All right. Please do the roll call.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Voting on item number 3, starting with Director Arnold.
Aye.
Director Conroy.
Aye.
Director Garbarino.
Aye.
Director Giudice. Is absent. Director Grosball. Is absent. Director Hernandez. Is absent. Director Maston.
Aye.
Director Parr.
Aye.
Director Rabbit.
Aye.
Director Rodoni.
Aye.
Director Snyder.
Aye.
Director Stephanie. Is absent. Director Thier.
Aye.
Second Vice President Hill.
Yes.
First Vice President Cochran.
Yes.
And President Tirio.
Yes.
All right, thank you. You have 12 ayes. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. The motion passes. Madam Secretary, please continue with the agenda.
Thank you. We're going to move on to agenda item number 4 to improve an enhanced vacation accrual policy for certain engineering department classifications. That staff report was revised and reposted online, and the revised version was sent to directors on Tuesday. Ava Bauer-Furbish is presenting this report. Ava, please go ahead.
Thank you, Amoret. The agenda item number 4 report presents staff recommendation regarding an enhanced vacation accrual policy for the engineer classifications in the engineering department. Over the past several years, the engineering department has had difficulty in filling vacant positions due in part to its non-competitive vacation credit and accrual policy. Several highly qualified candidates for engineer positions with relevant engineering experience have declined offers of employment with the district because they will have to forego 3 to 5 weeks of vacation that they earned in their current positions and be allowed to accrue only 2 weeks of vacation per year in their first through fourth year of service if they have accepted the district employment offer. Staff recommends that the committee recommend to the board to approve an action to implement a modified vacation accrual policy for the engineer position classifications so that employees in these positions accrue annual paid vacation up to a maximum of 30 years at the 30 days at the accrual rates based on verified position relevant years of work experience in the industry prior to district employment and in the position with the district engineering department. So the scale will look as follows. First through fourth year of the combined position related experience, a person would accrue 10 days per year. Fifth through 10 years, 10th year, 15 days. 11th through 20th year, 20 days. 21st through 29th year, 25 days. And 29 years thereafter, 30 days. The district has 22 authorized positions for engineer classifications. 7 of these positions are currently vacant. For the initial year of this program, staff estimates that 7 new hires and 15 existing employees would be eligible for enhanced vacation accruals. Given that assumption, the first year cost for the increased vacation leaves would be an estimated $60,000 to $11,000. It is anticipated that this cost would be funded using salary savings. So with this, I'd be happy to answer committee's question.
All right. Can you raise your hand if you have questions? I don't see any hands raised.
I don't see any either.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for that report, Ava. And let's see, Madam Secretary, please call on the board members who have questions. No one does. So that concludes discussion on this item. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on item 4?
We do. We have Mr. Pilpel also would like to comment on this item. David, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me okay?
We can hear you fine. Thank you. Go ahead.
Great. So my engineering item disagreements today are on policy and not personal, and I hope they're not misinterpreted in that way. I refer to my letter that was dated yesterday. Hopefully you've all had a chance to read and consider its contents. Specifically on this item, thinking of more about it, and I've certainly spent a long time thinking about both of these items, but starting on this one, if there is in fact a recruitment issue different from a retention issue in the engineering department, as other agencies have perhaps a hiring bonus or referral bonus or some specific incentive for new hires in the engineering department, specifically in engineering classifications for a trial period, may be warranted so as to entice people to apply and accept offers. But that's not proposed here. This is a different vacation accrual policy than exists elsewhere in the district, and that's my concern. I also believe that what we know about the labor market right now may be very different in 6 months if there is a recession, as has been projected, and as we've started to hear in the last week or two, that companies are laying people off. I suspect that there may be people needing employment, including qualified engineers. And so the labor landscape may be different in the near future. And so changing this policy wouldn't be something that would be easy to change back. And that's why I think a temporary hiring incentive may be a better approach to dealing with a temporary labor situation. But there are other approaches as well, and that's why I think both of these items merit reconsideration. And again, this is strictly on the policy grounds. I'll leave it at that right now.
Madam Chair, if you want, I could respond to the speaker.
Yes, please.
I don't have a crystal ball about what's going to happen to the overall economy. What I do know is that late last year, Congress passed a new bipartisan infrastructure law, which is the largest infrastructure investment since Eisenhower was president. So whatever happens to the broader economy, construction projects, including hopefully phase 3B of our seismic retrofit, will be ongoing regardless of the broader economy. And it will keep the economy afloat, arguably, nationwide, whatever else happens to other industries. We have a lot of engineering vacancies. Our salaries are not competitive. And when we try to poach engineers from other agencies and entities, when someone has 10 or 15 years experience, 2 weeks vacation is a non-starter. And so we have unusual recruitment and retention issues in a couple of departments. I've said this publicly many a time. I said patrol officers and engineering at your January meeting. I said it publicly. We took care of the patrol officer issue, so we'll be able to staff up there. Now we need to take care of the challenges in the engineering department. And whether our society treats all job classifications the same or not is a policy question. But the reality is we're competing for civil engineers against every other public and private entity out there that will be spending bipartisan infrastructure law. And if we get a lot of money to do projects on the bridge, we won't be able to implement them without staff. So I just wanted to clarify that whatever recessionary concerns the speaker may have will not impact heavy construction civil work on structures like the Golden Gate Bridge.
Okay, thank you for that. Any other comments or questions from the public?
We have no other speakers from the public, but I do see Director Thier has her hand up now.
Oh, yes. Please go ahead.
Hello, Supervisor. I just wanted to echo what Dennis said. Right now it is very difficult to attract engineers in private companies, and the public agencies are absolutely scrambling. A lot of times the wages in public agencies are not as high as in the private sector. And, having an experienced engineer come in and have to go back to a first through fourth year, vacation accrual policy might take someone who's getting 30 days already and put them back to 10 days. And they're going to take the offer where they can get the 30 days. And, there's a lot of projects that this district competes with regionally and also, outside of the Bay Area, where the compensation is so high right now that if you don't meet people's current vacation, they're not even going to entertain an offer. So I think this is critical. I think with the infrastructure bill, the shortages are only going to get greater because there's more jobs. There's a lot of talk now in the industry that there will not even be enough workers to do all of the jobs that are being rolled out at the federal level or intended to be rolled out at the federal level. So this district is going to have to compete hard to get skilled engineers right now. So I think this is a really good good option, and will give the district flexibility to attract the top talent that we need to complete the projects for the district.
Thank you, Director. Anyone else?
Chair
Madam-
Arnold, if you could give us just one quick pause after you started the meeting, some number of people jumped on. We just want to make sure that we capture everybody who wants to
Okay.
speak today. So if you could just
Sure.
pause for 1 second while we do that, that'd be
Yes.
very helpful. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you for that brief moment. I believe we're going to move on now then. Go
All
ahead.
right, wonderful. Okay. May I have a motion on item number 4?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Thank you. We're voting on item number 4 with a first and second. And Director Maston, I'm going to have Director Parr as a second. I saw her waving
That's
her hand.
fine. Yep.
That's okay. Thank you. Starting with Director Arnold,
Aye.
Director Conroy,
Aye.
Director Garbarino,
Aye.
Director Giudice is absent. Director Grosval is absent. Director Hernandez is absent. Director Maston,
Aye.
Director Parr,
Aye.
Director Rabbit,
Aye.
Director Rodoni,
Aye.
Director Snyder,
Aye.
Director Stephanie is absent. Director Thier,
Aye.
Second Vice President Hill,
Yes.
First Vice President Cochran,
Yes.
and President Tirio.
Yes.
Thank you. You have 12 ayes.
All right. Thank you all very much. All right, we're going to move on to agenda item 5 to approve actions relative to engineering department reorganization. The staff report was not ready at the time of mailing and subsequently sent and posted online on Tuesday. Ava will also be presenting this report. Ava, please begin your report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The agenda item number 5 report presents staff recommendation for actions related to the proposed reorganization of the engineering department. So why the engineering department needs to be reorganized? The engineering department develops and implements capital improvement projects for the Golden Gate Bridge and all other district facilities, and provides ongoing engineering support to the district's maintenance operations. The engineering department, this year, the engineering department will be undertaking management of the Golden Gate Suspension Bridge seismic retrofit project construction, which is estimated right now at $870 million. Concurrently with implementation of the seismic retrofit project, engineering will continue to manage the Golden Gate Bridge physical suicide deterrent system construction until its completion in 2025, and will be working on the design and construction of the San Rafael Bus Transit Center project and ferry terminal improvement projects. In addition, there are numerous other bridge, bus, ferry, and ferry facility capital improvement projects, such as rehabilitation and improvements to the bridge, office buildings, parking lots, fueling facilities, maintenance facilities. Engineering department staff will also continue to conduct bridge inspections and provide support to the bridge maintenance operations, including development of work access designs to accommodate maintenance operations at the different locations along the bridge. The delivery of the district's much needed capital improvement and maintenance projects and the district's prudent use of available project funding depend on experience and expertise of engineering department staff assigned to various facets of the project delivery. All of these projects will require significant staffing resources and a high degree of experience in and knowledge of all aspects of the project delivery process. With the passage of the over $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill 2021, the demand for experienced and knowledgeable project delivery personnel is expected to continue to increase nationwide. A report published by the Federal Highway Administration Office of Infrastructure in February 2021 on the case study on managing risk to assets stated that among the 7 most common risks presented in state DOT's transportation asset management plans was the loss of skilled staff because of retirements, low salaries, and competitive markets. Caltrans TAM plan identified as a risk a loss of agency knowledge and knowledge gaps. Current engineering staff possesses extensive experience and expertise in all aspects of capital project delivery and maintenance support, and in federal, state, and district procurement rules, in addition to in-depth knowledge of district facilities gained during the employment with the district. Considering how critical, knowledgeable, and experienced staff is to accomplishing project delivery, it is of utmost importance that current engineering staff have opportunities to employ their talents at higher levels of responsibility. The increased responsibilities would include training of interns and new hires to enable their professional development and to assure continuity of the institutional knowledge amid staff retirements. In addition, there will be increased demands placed on the existing staff to manage numerous consultants to augment engineering staff during the implementation of the large-scale and complexity suspension bridge seismic retrofit project and other capital improvement and maintenance projects. The agenda item number 5 presents staff recommendation for the Rules Committee to recommend to the Board of Directors approval of 5 actions related to the proposed engineering department reorganizations. These 5 actions are: first, to amend the table of organization to establish 7 sections within the department, each focusing on a specific portion of the capital improvement and maintenance support program delivery. These sections are bridge design, bus and ferry design, bridge construction, bus and ferry construction, inspection and maintenance support, engineering contracts, and engineering document controls. The proposed engineering document reorganization to 7 sections will provide the most efficient framework needed to implement the district's essential facility capital improvement and maintenance programs. They are included in the district's 10-year capital plan. The second proposed action is to establish 3 new job classifications for the positions that will lead the 7 sections. The first classification is directing civil engineer to lead the bridge design, bus and ferry design, bridge construction, bus and ferry construction, and inspection and maintenance support sections. The proposed annual compensation range for this classification would be from $161,787 at step 1 to $1,906,653 at step 5, not including benefits. These 5 positions would be created by reclassifying 3 existing supervising civil engineer positions and adding 2 new directing civil engineer positions. The second classification is Director of Engineering Contracts to lead the engineering contract section. The proposed annual compensation range for this classification would be from $121,888 at step 1 to $247,308 at step 5. This position would be created by reclassifying the existing engineering contract officer position. This third classification is Engineering Document Controls Manager to lead the Engineering Document Controls section. The proposed annual compensation range would be from $114,275 at step 1 to $138,091 at step 5, not including benefits. The third proposed action is to expand the engineering department's professional development program that was approved by the board in September 2019 to provide defined career path for the engineering contract assistant and engineering document control assistant positions by establishing 2 new job classifications. First, senior engineering contracts assistant classification with an annual compensation range from $89,190 at step 1 to $107,786 at step 5, not including benefits. Second, senior engineering document control assistant classification with an annual compensation range from $82,930 at step 1 to $100,235 at step 5, not including benefits. The assistant positions will provide an employment opportunities for job candidates in an entry level. Under the supervision of the Director of Engineering Contracts or the Engineering Document Control Manager as applicable, and with the support of the senior assistants, employees in the assistant positions will have access to the job training, guidance, and feedback regarding assignments and performance evaluations. After meeting education and job-related experience requirements of a corresponding senior assistant position and showing good performance, the assistant level employees will be eligible for an in-place promotion to a senior assistant position. The fourth proposed action is to approve changes to the engineering department's engineer and inspector position compensations to make them competitive with other employers, consistent with the position classifications and increased staff responsibilities, and reflective of the proposed engineering department table or organization that is outlined in the table at the end of the staff report. This action will assure the retention of the engineers and inspectors currently employed by the district and will improve chances to find candidates for additional positions. For several years, the engineering department has experienced difficulty in filling vacant positions. There are currently 8 unfilled vacancies in the engineering department that represents 20% of the authorized staff level, 7 engineer positions and 1 inspector position. This is in addition to the fact that fully 1/3 of current engineering staff is eligible for retirement in the few coming years. The ability to recruit for the vacant engineering inspector position has been severely hindered by the high cost of living in the Bay Area and by the higher salaries available at other public and private employers. District salary surveys have confirmed that the district must offer more competitive salaries for the engineering and inspector positions to compete in this highly competitive labor market. Because of the inability to fill these vacant positions with candidates possessing senior engineer level qualifications, it is expected that the vacant positions will have to be filled by candidates with lower level of experience, such as junior engineer or assistant engineer or associate engineer, which will require on-the-job training. Similarly and consistent with the board-approved professional development program for associate inspector positions, it is expected that the district may fill the associate inspector positions with offering full-time employment at the entry-level position of Inspector Trainee 1 to recent graduates. It is anticipated that such arrangements and hires at the entry level will require 3 to 4 years of training. It is proposed that the engineering department compensations for the engineer and inspector positions be established by increasing them by 6% as presented in the table on page 7 of this staff report. And finally, the fifth proposed action is to increase the fiscal year 22-23 engineering department budget by $668,520. It is proposed that the changes recommended in this staff report be implemented the first day of the pay period in which the board's approval falls. There are sufficient savings in the engineering department operating budget to cover the proposed compensation increases during the last 2 weeks of the current fiscal year 21-22. If approved, the proposed changes would result in an estimated annual increase in expenses for the fiscal year 22-23 adopted budget for the engineering department of approximately $668,520, consisting of $496,537 in salaries and $171,983 in payroll and fringe benefits. The engineering department traditionally is budgeted 50% in its operating budget and 50% to capital projects because engineering department work hours are chargeable to the capital project budgets. Subsequent years will be budgeted through the annual budget process. While at this time, staff is not recommending increasing the number of authorized engineering department staff positions, it is anticipated that additional engineer, inspector, contract administration, and document control positions will be required to deliver the capital improvement and maintenance programs in the coming years. If a need for additional full-time staff is identified, a recommendation for adding new positions in the engineering department will be brought for the board's consideration. The proposed approach to staffing engineering projects is to fill the long-term staffing needs with the engineering department employees and to augment engineering staff with consultants who would provide specific expertise for the project-specific assignments. So with this, I would be happy to answer any questions the committee may have for me.
And if I may, Madam Chair, I'll just add one point for Ava's very thorough presentation, and that is this reorganization has been discussed with Local 21, which is a union that represents the vast majority of the department, and they concur with what's before you.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you. All right, board, any questions?
Yes.
Yes. Director Cochran.
Yes, I'm a little bit miffed here. We're giving salary increases, and I keep wanting to see salary surveys, and I haven't seen any, even with the officers that we did a month ago, and now we're doing all the engineers. But what about the rest of the employees? So, I mean, if the engineers are low, then everyone else has to be low too.
So we are conducting a comprehensive salary survey of all positions. We have some partial results, so we have it for these positions, and these positions are way out of whack. We don't have the same level of hiring challenges that we do in other classifications. So everyone always wants more money, but we compare ourselves to the norm out there. And engineering salaries are low. I'm in another life, I was an engineer. I still maintain my professional registration. So when people have openings, they mail them to all engineers in the Bay Area. This one's from the Port of Oakland, and it closes next Friday, and it pays their associate more than we pay our seniors. So, the engineering salaries are very low and it's very competitive. We have no problem hiring iron workers. We have no problem hiring laborers. We have no problem hiring lots of classifications. This is a department where we've had large challenges hiring. It's a department where working on the seismic project will be funded with grant money, other people's money for at least half the cost. And so it's prudent that we hire staff so that we can proceed. But when we have a completed salary survey, we will, as we have in the past, present the results to the board. But at this point in time, we're competing for funds for the Phase 3B retrofit. We want to make sure the engineering department, which has been woefully understaffed for many years, has the opportunity to hit the ground running so we can grab the money and deliver the project.
If I may add something also, I belong to the National Academy of Construction, and the most important subject that all members always discuss, how to educate and train engineers. There is nationwide shortage of engineers. People who are inclined to technical professions nowadays tend to go to electronics. And there is a big shortage of civil engineers, mechanical, electrical, and this will only increase when the money will become available for all these capital projects across the country. I feel that it's what we have right now in our hands is a very talented staff that we have on board. And this is what we have for sure right now. Our hope for the new hires at this time is only hope. So this is the most important, that we use what we have, all the talent we have right now. And with this, we need to prepare ourselves for delivery of all these important projects for the district, but also for the transfer of knowledge and specifically the knowledge about the bridge and all our facilities. The institutional knowledge is extremely important here.
But at a future meeting, we'll present the salary survey information for all classifications, so the board has that available.
Okay, Director.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Director Tier, and then Director Garbarino.
Thank you so much. So when I was reading the report, it looks to me like with the reorganization, no current employees will lose their positions, but some will be promoted, some will be moved around. I just want to make sure that that reading is correct.
That's correct.
Okay. And again, I wanted to just reiterate the comments that I made before. I believe this also contemplates an increase for inspectors. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And just so the rest of the board knows, right now, inspectors, it is almost impossible to get inspectors. We're competing with, right now in Los Angeles, on I think it's the Big Five, they're paying $100 an hour straight time. That's $150 an hour. Overtime, $200 an hour is what inspectors are getting double time. And these current district salaries at, I don't know, 130,000, it's very hard to compete right now with trained inspectors. So this is something I would definitely support. So just want to make that comment.
Thank you. Director Garbarino.
Yes, I would like to thank Ava for her comprehensive presentation. I agree and appreciate and thank Dennis and Jerry for their comments about a salary survey. I know in my own organization, although we just have about 260 employees, we're also, like the rest of the world, having a hard time finding and keeping employees who want to stay here and want to build a career here. And that's very difficult. My own personal comment about my organization is I feel as though my dog just had 16 puppies, and I'm trying to figure out which ones to put into the little nice caged area and give them all the respectful increases that they deserve, while trying to also do that salary survey thing. So it feels a little bit like you're running 2 steps ahead and 1 step back, or 3, or so it's a challenge, and it's something. Salary surveys are vital and they're quite an assist, but it's also difficult to keep up with the employment time that we have. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. President Terrio.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would just point out that we are approaching 10 o'clock and would ask that we move to public comment and then to a vote.
And sorry, I was going to make a motion too. I appreciate that. And I went on and on as well. Sorry.
So make your motion. Oh, no, we have to see anyone from the public have comments. Madam Secretary.
Thank you. We do have a public commenter. We have David Pilpel, who would like to comment today. So in a second, let me bring him back in. David, are you there?
Hello?
Hi there.
Amoret.
I
Hang
am,
on
but I
one
think
second.
somebody else is trying to get ahead of me.
Oh, well, we're going to call on David Pilpel to speak
I'm gonna
first.
have to. Yes.
Go ahead, David.
Okay, I thought somebody else was ahead of me, but that's okay. I'm not sure at this point how much, if it's even worth making further public comment on this item. You all have my letter. I'll just point out 2 other things based on the discussion. I still think that there are ways to address labor market issues while still being a fiscally responsible public agency. The general manager's report several months back included a vacant positions list. I think it would be helpful to the board, certainly to me or to the public, to see that list of vacant positions periodically, not necessarily every month, but perhaps twice a year or every quarter. Those positions that are vacant, there are different approaches to filling vacant positions. Some may be held for various reasons, but those that the district is trying to fill, there can be targeted incentives and other ways to try to fill those positions given what's happening in the labor market. I spoke to that on the earlier item. I think I'll just leave it at that and see where the board goes with this. Thanks for
Yes,
listening.
thank you. If you could keep the comments succinct, that would be helpful, because we're it looks like we're going to be a little bit late going to the board meeting.
Thank you.
Do you
We do have
someone-
one more. I believe that was Shane Weinstein. Shane, was that you who spoke up?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Shane.
it was. I'm sorry. I thought you were on a behind line.
No problem. Go ahead.
Or can they? Oh, directors, yes. Shane Weinstein. Just very quickly. I'm listening to this meeting, and again, I need to reiterate that the Golden Gate Transit bus operators are the lowest hourly paid bus operators by dollars an hour in the Bay Area. And I really hope that we do start looking at some kind of wage comparison, because what you're going to see is BART, Muni, and VTA by 2024, which is very soon, are going to be roughly $43 an hour. That is $10 ahead of where we are. If we're concerned about keeping bus drivers here, we need to up their wages tremendously so we can retain and we can hire. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shane. Madam Secretary, anyone else from the public want to comment?
Those are all our speakers. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. May I have a motion on item number 5 to approve actions relative to the engineering department reorganization?
So moved.
Director Garbarino, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All right, we have a motion and a second. Can you please call the roll?
Thank you. We're voting on item number 5, and we're going to start with Director Arnold.
Aye.
Director Conroy.
Aye.
Director Garbarino.
Aye.
Director Giudice. is absent. Director
Abstain.
Grossball. You're there. You go. Abstain. Thank you. Director Grossball is absent. Director Hernandez is absent. Director Maston.
Aye.
Director Parr.
Aye.
Director Rabbit.
Aye.
Director Rodoni.
Aye.
Director Snyder.
Aye.
Director Stephanie is absent. Director Thier.
Aye.
Second Vice President Hill.
Yes.
First Vice President Cochran.
Yes, with the understanding we'll have a salary survey in the next round.
Thank you. And President Terrio.
Yes.
Thank you. You have 12 ayes and 1 abstention.
Great. Thank you very much. And thank you, board. We have reached the end of the agenda. May I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved, Rabbit.
Second.
The Maston. All right. If there are no objections, this concludes the meeting of the Rules, Policy, and Industrial Committee. Thank you, colleagues, and it is 10:01. We're adjourned.
Thank you. Give us a second and we're going to pause so that we can flip over to the board meeting.
Do we go away and come back in?
No, you can stay on this line.
That's a blessing.
Is the YouTube channel the same or is it a new channel when they restart it?